12:34. A very good afternoon. This is Ronak Kotecha on Live Talk, and now on the phone lines with me is Dr. Shruthi Punnapu. She is a specialist in Department of Pediatrics at Medcare Women&Children Hospital, and she specializes in asthma. And since this is the first week of back to school, we thought it's a good idea to talk to her about children's health. Hello, doctor. How are you doing this afternoon?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for asking. So, doctor, you specialize in asthma in children. How
Yes.
common is it in this part of the world?
Um, Asthma is actually prevalent very much in this part of world. We see around 10% of our OPD visits with asthma and allergies actually. Yes.
Okay. Okay. And is it something that children are born with, or is it something that they acquire?
So there are multiple reasons why it happens. One is if there is strong positive family history, especially if parents are having asthma, then there is a strong genetic risk that the child can get it. And again, environmental issues like triggers can be dust, passive smoking, allergens, exposure to food. All of this can also cause allergies and asthma.
Okay. But is it always something that needs medical attention, or a lot of times the severity isn't that much that, a child needs to be on constant medical care?
So, asthma is one of the most common chronic illness that we do see in children. So, definitely it requires medical attention, especially if it is diagnosed as asthma. And there is also something called asthma action plan that we do follow because it can cause chronic illness. It can go into emergency if it is not well controlled. So, yeah, I highly recommend that they see doctors regularly if they are diagnosed with asthma
And
so that we can.
how does it present itself? How is it different from your regular? A lot of times, children and even adults are prone to like
Mm,
coughing all the time or having cold all the time. These are common things.
that's
So
right,
how do you
yes.
differentiate and say that no, now this is asthma?
So one thing is positive family history. If the parents are asthmatic or having allergy issues, that is one of the risk that the child can have asthma. And along with that, they can also present with respiratory symptoms like wheezing, like a whistling sound, and shortness of breath. Sometimes there can be tightness of chest. And if they have recurrent cough, which is varying over time and in intensity, then yes, we can only diagnose with all of this, and we do a special test called as spirometry and pulmonary function test. With this, we diagnose if the child is having asthma and with a questionnaire method as well.
All right. And does it also impact the child's immunity?
If the child is managed very well and is given a proper management plan and action plan, it will not affect the immunity of the child at all in the long run.
Okay. We're in the back to school week. We just started schools from Monday, and
Mm.
we're seeing obviously millions of students going back to school. So, what are the essential vaccinations that children should have before they go to school?
Since they've already started school, I would strongly recommend flu vaccine because it's a lot of influenza cases were detected last year, and there were a lot of admissions with
Right.
pneumonias. So I would strongly recommend them that they get their mandatory vaccines as well as flu vaccines before they go back to school.
Right. Did you see an uptick in the cases yet after the schools have started?
Yes, there was increase actually from last week itself, especially flu cases. So I would strongly recommend that parents get their flu vaccine on time.
And I think all the schools have not like it's not like all the schools have started. There might be a staggered, opening dates. So few
True.
schools might be still getting into action. So by next week, we'll see more students going to school.
Yeah.
One of the things that always is a tension for most of the parents is a healthy lunch box. So any
Mm.
diet that you recommend, because we're switching to school times now.
Yeah. So I would strongly recommend that they eat lots of high fiber food, like more of vegetables and fruits, and high protein diet, along with good fat sources like omega 3s. If you're vegetarian, go in for nuts, and if you're non vegetarian, more of salmon, avocados.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
And
Mm.
what about, we were talking to a doctor just in the studio in the first hour, and we're
Mm.
talking about the screen time because she's an ophthalmologist.
Yeah.
D- do you also see any interconnection between the children that you see who are spending excessive time on screen and also causing that could also have a more negative impact on their health?
Definitely, because their first of all, their lifestyle is modified. They're not going out. They're not going getting exposed outside. And second thing is, right now I've seen a lot of obesity and overweight children,
Okay.
and yeah, all of this can contribute to. So I would strongly recommend that you reduce the screen time to not more than 30 minutes to 1 hour per day, and yeah, not more than that.
Yeah, that's what the doctor said also. Also, on the
Mm.
one of the questions that has come in for you, what precautions
Mm.
should we take for children with chronic conditions like asthma? Is there anything they can do before they return to school?
So definitely a pediatrician follow-up is necessary, especially before they start school, because a lot of viruses and viral infections can increase the asthma incidence. So I would definitely recommend the parents of children who are diagnosed with asthma to come for a checkup so that we can start them on asthma action plan, and also we can give them a brief overview on what to do if the child is wheezing, and also give a management plan and an action plan even in the school before they even come to the clinic.
Right. And finally, in the weather that we are in right now, I mean,
Mm.
we've seen the Suhail star on 24th of August. We were expecting that uh, the temperatures will cool off, but it doesn't seem to be happening just yet. So, any specific precautions to be taken now that we're in that tricky time that you don't know when the summer will end?
Yeah, that's right. So precautions, as I told you, get the jabs done, and healthy habits should be implemented, and less of screen time and more of physical activity. All of this will help in boosting the immunity to children. And yeah, and vitamin D exposure to sunlight. Good vitamin D, especially between 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., is an optimum time for to be exposed, not for a longer duration, but for
Right.
small
But
duration.
does that also help asthmatic kids?
Yes, it does.
All right, all right. Thank you so
Yeah,
much, doctor. That was Dr. Shruti with us from Medcare
you're
Women and
welcome.
Children Hospital. We're talking about asthma in children, especially now that the schools have started. So there's going to be a rise in these kind of cases. So the precautions that need to be taken.